Hey guys, it's your girl Asia, aka Geek XX Chic, and we're back with another reaction to The Walking Dead. We're now into episode 18, which is called Find Me. Yeah, so last week we had the mid-season premiere, which basically had us seeing the reintroduction of Maggie and her people that she's brought from the last settlement that she was at. We found out that they were being hunted by a group called the Reapers. We don't know much more about them so far outside of the fact that they just seem to want to destroy everything in their path for no rhyme or reason. We met one of these potential Reapers in the forest, and, you know, despite Maggie very aggressively questioning him, he basically said some kind of nonsense that I still don't understand, and then literally blew himself up. So these folks are very, you know, die for the cause. Like, we thought that Alpha's people were a cult. I feel like the Reapers are taking it to the next level. So outside of that, we still have not seen anything from the group that went off to for Eugene's long distance booty call. I'm hoping that we'll get some updates on them soon. We're going to get into this episode, but right before we do, you know the drill. If you've been here before and you like what you see, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. That way you can join the family and be notified when I do more reactions to this show as well as others. So hopefully you'll join the family. It's a lot of fun around here. All right, guys, thanks so much for that. Without further ado, let's get into the episode right about now.
So it's because I had a really special strong right foot.
I got it. Damn. No shame in asking for help, Daryl.
Yours out?
Big belly up one.
See about the river.
Yeah?
You good with that?
Yeah. Let's do it.
This is weird mood between the two of them.
It's nothing. It's just a foot cramp.
You're very special, strong right foot now, is it?
Wow. Petty.
Okay. That's beginner's luck.
Is it? If we've learned anything in 10 seasons, it's to never underestimate Carol.
It feels different. Like everything that's good in the world is not on our side anymore.
Was it ever? I mean, it's been a lot of tragedy over the last 10 seasons. What is this? What is happening? Daryl's been here before? Did he used to live here? Did Dog used to live here? Is this where he got Dog? Because we never saw how that happened. What in the backstory is going on right now? Ah, I was about to say, we haven't seen that vest in a minute. So is this when he was out on his searching for Rick's sabbatical? Oh, there's a puppy! He's so cute!
I should go. There's a storm coming. Thanks.
Always looking out for Daryl.
Be careful.
Always a caregiver. That's why the word care is in her name. It's not Rick. Are you looking to be smited? Why are we out here? If not to catch pneumonia. Oh, jeez. Okay.
Who the hell are you?
Could ask the same.
I'm leaving.
Okay, she that kind of freak. She like, I ain't seen a man in years. You ain't going nowhere.
It's a long time ago.
She. Conversations we were never a part of.
Will she want to know?
Whatever you want to tell me.
Why don't I do a flashback instead? It's so much more concise.
Get out. Before I change my mind.
Worst date ever. Psst, you better go away, dog. Last time you came around, you brought me trouble. Despite what you may think, man, your dog seems to think you lonely. Your a dog like I'm bringing you a man.
Be careful. Dog, inside.
What a strange courtship. 8 months. Oh my lord. Ooh, this is cozy. Daryl's like, sorry, I haven't showered in a month. So, you hang out in this tree often, or? Jesus. Daryl is so bad at this. Welcome to mating rituals of the Dixon brothers, including throwing a fish at your front doorstep. Next, a dead bird.
And I won't come around again.
Good.
Right.
The way they're having their first couple fight.
Thought you were going.
Y'all just make out already, jeez.
I haven't seen another soul out here since.
Explain why she was so angry at your first meeting.
Who did you lose?
Rick! But he's not lost.
My brother.
How?
That hurt.
Lucky shot.
Look at these two. Daryl's first girlfriend. And y'all thought it would be Carol. Ooh, this is cozy. Daryl, I didn't know you had a game like this. You've been holding out on his breath. Had a whole relationship we never knew. I cannot believe Daryl had all this going on. We are just finding out now. I feel betrayed.
Or do you belong with the family you left? Because it was too hard to face what happened? Or do you belong here with me?
Deep questions.
Oh no.
Things are really tough at the kingdom, and Ezekiel needs me there, and me too.
Fair.
Asking for my permission?
Right? All right, well, that was definitely her then, because I don't think anyone would have found that. So did she just leave? Ah. Daryl's first love letter, you guys. I didn't realize he could write and stuff. Wow, the first time Daryl finally chooses something for himself. And it was too late.
Is it possible that she just left?
What?
It's not an accusation. Losing Leah, that's not on you. Neither is Rick. Or Connie.
He kind of has...
That's on you.
Ooh! Oh! Damn!
You never know when to stop.
He been holding on to that one for a while, huh?
Because I was right.
And that's all that matters. You being right.
Tell her about herself, Daryl! Sorry, but it's true.
So why don't you just say what you want to say?
Let's get it all out since we're just throwing the knives now, Daryl.
I don't need a savior, Daryl, and I don't need a martyr. I just need a friend.
Friends don't have the same damn conversation over and over again.
Oh, is that what's happening here? Because this is new to me.
It's what's been happening. I'm sick of it.
Well, then...
I should have. I stopped you from running.
Wow.
And I shouldn't have.
Damn.
Oh. Run. Run. I won't stop you this time.
Stand in it. Woo! He must feel 100 pounds lighter. That has been weighing on him for a minute. But it needed to be said. Woo! That is the most we've ever heard of, like, consecutively out of Daryl in 10 seasons. Seriously. Wow, that's how we're ending it, huh? With the first telling off from Daryl Dixon. Okay, guys, that was the latest episode of The Walking Dead called Find Me, and it was a little bit of a standalone episode with Daryl and Carol, but we got to find out a little bit about that big time lapse that we discovered last season around where Daryl was after Rick disappeared, and you know, we didn't really hear much about it. We just kind of assumed he was out in the bush looking for Rick or Rick's remains. And we now discovered that he had a whole relationship. The first one, I think we could probably say, that we've ever known about on the show. It's kind of been a running joke since like at least season 3 or 4 that like Daryl is like the one guy who's never in a relationship, never had like even romantic interest. people were sort of wondering, like, does he even want, like, does he have any romantic inclinations? Like, what's going on with this guy? But it turns out he had a whole relationship. Like I said, probably the first one maybe ever in his life. And it's just interesting that we're getting to see a little bit more of how, like, Daryl doesn't often make decisions that are about himself, if that makes sense. So from when we were first introduced to Daryl way back in season 1, he never used to really make decisions for himself, right? Merle was the alpha dog in their relationship, and Merle made a lot of the decisions, and Daryl just kind of followed along because that was his big bro. And then when Merle died, we saw he was very lost for a while, and then Rick kind of took the place of that, right? Like, he kind of would live more for what Rick and the group wanted from him. And as we've gone through the seasons, then it kind of became Carol, and then sometimes Michonne. So Daryl's always kind of been very much the guy who is very passive about his own desires and what he really wants, and more about, like, somebody that he kind of attaches himself to. And I think a lot of that has to go back to, like, if you want to get deep about it, around the fact that he's always been somewhat codependent. And so this relationship to me was the first thing that was something that Daryl wanted to choose for himself. And so meeting her during that time, I think, was really important for Daryl to kind of get that better sense of who he was and what he wanted for himself. And that question that Leah posed was really, really great, where she's like, you know, Daryl, you seem to be caught between several places right now. Like, where do you belong? Is it continuing this, at that point, seemingly in vain search for Rick, which is keeping you isolated from everything and everyone? Is it back at the community that you left? Or is it with me? Like, which one is it? Like, you need to figure out where you want to be, because, you know, obviously Leah was starting to get some feelings. You know, she was catching some real emotions here, and she needed to know if this guy was going to just pick up and disappear, because Daryl has always been that character who's got one foot out the door. When she gave him that ultimatum, we saw that his first inclination was to keep that foot out the door. But then when we got that interaction with him and Carol, who had been keeping in touch loosely during this entire time, you know, she basically was like, well, I have to really invest myself in my marriage and in, you know, in my family that I have at the time in Kingdom. And she wanted to let Daryl know that. And then Daryl, I think Daryl took that as kind of the push that he needed to choose a life that was for himself and choose Leah. But unfortunately, as we saw, she was gone when he got back. And I guess there's a big question mark as to whether or not she died. But considering the fact that the picture that she clearly had a very deep emotional attachment to was taken, my guess is that she left. I think she just thought, you know what, I don't know, I don't want to keep sitting here in limbo waiting for this guy to come back, so she just potentially took off. Sadly, this is yet another thing that Daryl's kind of living with and has been sitting with. You know, that's been sitting on his conscience the whole time, and that's very interesting that this is the first time we're hearing about it. So I think that was kind of a nice character development for Daryl, actually, because while he has had some development over the years in The Walking Dead, I don't think we've really gotten into the more emotional issues with him outside of whatever Carol brings out of him. So I like that this was a story that was away from the main group per se, and really about Daryl's own journey, I guess you could say, and his own first love. Like, that's really, I think, what we can call this, is that was really his first love, and that it didn't exactly end the greatest way. Outside of that, we got to take a quick detour and talk about that last conversation. Daryl finally has said what has been needing to be said to Carol for a long time. But I think that the real zinger that had to be said is that, you know, when everything went down with Connie and all the other losses that have been experienced through this whole situation, some people said what they had to say to Carol, but Daryl tried to hold back. You know, we saw that. I think Daryl's always been very aware of the fact that Carol's mental space is always like on the verge of snapping. So he really kind of held back, but he needed to say what was said in that cabin today. Yeah, it seems harsh, but Daryl's been sitting on that for a minute, and I'm glad he finally got that off his chest. It's necessary, honestly, for their relationship to go forward in any type of a healthy way. They needed to have this conversation. They needed to air out all these emotions, and I am sure that at some point, Carol will start to recognize where Daryl is coming from. I mean, we all know Carol and Daryl will love each other forever. Like, they're literally fused as souls. They'll never ever hate each other, but just like it is in life, we all have frustrations with the people we love, and I'm glad that Daryl finally said it because he's been meaning to say something for a while. So hopefully now that this is all off of his chest, they can kind of deal with this, and hopefully Carol will take it for what it is, which is just Daryl's truth. Yeah, interesting episode. I'm still very much, I want to get to Eugene's group because I'm very curious about the group that they are interacting with. I hope you guys enjoyed watching along with me. I hope that you did. If you have any theories or anything else you want to share, please leave those in the comments below. You know I love getting involved in those conversations with you guys. And if you like what you see, please go ahead and hit that like button. You know that helps the old algorithm let people know that this is a cool video to watch if you're into The Walking Dead. And if you like what you see and you want to see more from this geeky face, please go ahead and hit subscribe. Until next time, see ya!